and welcome to the GMBN Tech Show. What have we got this week, Owen?
On this week's Tech Show, we've got the new Intense M1.
We do. There's some Cub Scouts and some Cub Scoots as well.
Scoots? Okay. Oh, interested to know more on the Scoots. And we rate influencers' bikes.
Yeah, so prepare to be unfriended, Owen. Okay, today, Owen, we're going to make some enemies because we're rating influencers' bikes, and I'm going to start off with a Tech Show favourite is Gustav, aka Dangerholm, and there's so many bikes to choose from. There's like the lightest downhill bike. There's obviously I'm going to have to pick the Scott Spark because I mean just look at it. It's that frame that's been hand stripped to bare carbon. He spent a day polishing that Raw Intend fork as well, and that derailleur with the custom polished B knuckle and the Kogel Colossus arm on the bottom there with the Cerakote, jockey wheels. Oh, it's just the colours as well.
His e-bike that he did for I think the latest trade show that we had, where it's like the world's lightest e-bike. That's impressive. I mean, personally, my favourite is his collab with Bicycle Pubes, the gravel bike packing bike.
The single speed, double barred gravel packing bike.
But super light. So it's got like all the signature things of Dangerholm. So it's got things like carbon discs, for example. So carbon disc rotors. So it's pretty wild.
Bananas bolted into the head tube.
The lightest way to store them.
Yeah, and an inner tube bolted in as well, which is
I mean, it's a light way of storing it. So yeah.
All right, okay. This guy is definitely an influencer. Arguably the first influencer, I would say. Danny Macaskill.
Ooh, I'll say Hans Ray was there first.
VHS doesn't count, but social media influencer, Danny Mac's got to be the first one out there. Anyway, he's got 3 bikes. He's got the Heckler 9, the 5010, but it's got to be that custom street trials bike, hasn't it? Really, because legend has it that is the most expensive thing Santa Cruz ever made. Can you believe it? And that's coming from Santa Cruz.
That's pretty wild.
And it was hand delivered to him in Scotland because it was so precious. But anyway, check this out with the Migira MT7s on there, some custom 24-inch reserve wheels rolling on some buzzy old i9 Hydra hubs. Beautiful, isn't it? What are we saying?
Very nice. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, of course. And Danny Mac's ace. Like ace on the bike and ace off the bike. So yeah, very good.
It's beautiful like and that yellow as well. It's very Santa Cruz.
Sebastian Bauer, I've got to say, I didn't recognise his name at all, but normal mountain biker, recognise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The power of influencing.
Indeed, yeah. 240,000 followers, so fair play. Yeah, more than my, 50. My favourite is a specialised enduro that he calls a park Duro. He's boosted the fork up to 180. He's stuck a coil on the back and he's made it single speed. I think he's being influenced there by Neil, to be fair, because he's done that with a vintage nuke-proof downhill bike. Influence is being influenced.
Park Duro is a thing. I think now,
okay,
and it's definitely full sus single speed. It looks good. I love that paint job with the red spokes on those Roval wheels. I just feel really sorry for that bike because that is the one that always gets the abuse with like wooden wheels and that like pizza cutter on the front. My days. Yeah, poor bike. But it does look good, doesn't it?
It does look good. Another bike that
decals.
Gets a lot of abuse is Fabio Wibmer's.
Yes. Okay, and that's one that he designed himself, which is pretty cool. Seeing a carbon trials bike is actually cool as well.
Cool.
But those white tyres, though. What are we saying, people? How are we rating this? Do we like this?
I mean, you can buy it, so that's really cool. You can buy his bike. It's from Canyon, so it is available. That's the coolest thing we can
say about it.
No, it is. It's super cool. I'm trying to think of another carbon trials bike that's available. Let's
let those guys rate it in the comments. Let's move on to some two of my most favourite people in the industry, MTB power couple Bryn Atkinson and Jill Kintner. Hi guys, you are amazing. And they often do these competitions where they get people to design their favourite paint job or like a crazy design, and you get to win that design put on a bike. And there's a kid got a watermelon recently, which is so cool. And we see that a lot on Bryn's bikes. So he's had the Hornet. We've seen the Snake previously as well. And just the intricacy is just like shocking. But for me, it's got to be Jill's Queen of Hearts. It was like a slalom slope style bike, which is just iconic. I think.
It is. Yeah.
You'd never seen this before.
I'd not seen it.
It's just absolutely iconic. When I think of Jill, I think of that bike. What do you think of it?
I mean,
like it?
now I've seen it, I really like it.
And that gold bike that he was shredding as well, like that's just like whew, full cashmere, getting ripped around his hometown. It's cool. Also, anymore, we've got some Vero Sandler. I think she gets a mention. She's got like 147,000 followers. Santa Cruz sponsored Badass, who we've had on the channel a few times at Darkfest and whatnot. And she's often digging as much as she's riding, which I respect so much. And she's got this 5010 here, which she's doing a bit of park Giro style as well. It's like single speed. She's got only a back brake this time, just wrapped around the steerer. No front brake, no gears. That looks so clean, doesn't it? I wish I could just ride a bike like that all the time.
I think I wish I could have like just half the skill that Vero's got. That'd be enough. Yeah, just half would be enough because I think she's just recovering from an injury, so healing vibes to Vero.
And then Brage Vestavik, you've got a bit of a man crush on this guy, haven't you?
Well, he's just brill. He's a really not like, I know there's the Viking kind of like vibes. Braga, yeah. Braggy, you can call him, or B-Rage.
All right, B-Rage.
He comes across as a mad, sort of like crazy Viking who would be quite intimidating, but is absolutely just awesome, genuine person. I got very lucky, met him at a hardline many years ago, where I thought he'd broken a leg because it was like about 4 times the size of my own leg. But then I realised as he got up, he hadn't broken it. He's built like a Viking. But yeah, his bike's rad.
And the Force is built like a Viking as well. I mean, high pivot, single speed, full 27.5. I mean, that's built for some serious abuse, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
it is.
Legend has it, he's sort of swapped out that
main shock pivot. I think he's replaced in the past. Yeah, I think on this new Force, maybe on this new Force he's not running that, but
we've seen it done.
Very cool.
And some extra pins on these pedals as well in the centre there. Keep your eyes open for that. I don't know if they're doing something
maybe
over at
BrageVestavik signature edition, maybe. Who knows?
And finally, just to round stuff off, because this happened recently, we only saw it this week, and this is when influencing goes bad. Yeah.
How it can backfire when you think you're flexing, but it doesn't really work. Well, we're saying it doesn't work. What do you think? Do you think it works? This is someone with a S-Works for sale, and they're putting it in their Tesla Super Cyber truck.
I mean, it's gone viral. The marketing has worked. But would you want to buy that S-Works now that it's effectively been hung over the edge of a bean can?
Yeah. No, I think it's a stainless steel can, so it's quite a sharp edge there.
Right. Fair play.
Well, get in touch with us. Have you sold that bike? That'd be great to know. News just in. So we've talked about it before. It's now actually released. Well, I think it's spring 2024 when it actually comes out, which is the new Intense M1. So they've been prototyping it for a while. You chat to John Hall about it. Gone as the original. I think it was like a single pivot. Early days.
M279 H6.
I was going
HP6.
I was going way back.
Catchy, but now it's the M1, isn't it?
Yeah. M1. Iconic DH bike. Palmer raced the M1, now Gwyn's racing the M1, so very exciting. 8 inches of travel, and you've got linear or progressive shock mounts on the rear, external cable routing, a mechanic's favourite, and available in 2024 spring, so very soon. Get saving.
Nice. Just released from Noog Proof. Obviously, we had the Scout, and then we had some Cub Scouts for small people. And now for even smaller people, there's the Cub Scoots. I mean, check these out. These are like mini scoots. They're so cute. You've got a Cub Scout in 14-inch and a 16-inch as well. And don't forget that limited run of Scouts in, it's the Stout Scout. It's effectively painted up a bit like Keelan Grant's EDR race bike, which he made up in a sort of Stout paint job. And now it's on a Scout, and you can buy it if you like it. I think it looks good.
I think it's really good. I like it. And then we've got Lezyne with a new light, which is quite exciting. They're referring it to as the most powerful light with the longest runtime in the industry. I mean, that is what they're saying. I feel like you might have tested a light that might have a little bit more.
I might have ridden something with 12,000 lumens.
Yeah, which is almost 10,000 more, but still.
But it still looks like a good light.
Yeah, 450 hour runtime in femto mode. I'm not sure what that mode is, but I need to research it. It's waterproof, which is very handy on a light. It's got USB-C charging, and it's got the CNC body, which a lot of the design lights have got, which I think aids cooling, so that's really good.
And then over in the world of Knolly, they've revamped their Endorphin. So this is the 6th generation. It was created for people, small people, basically, small people and youths and anyone with a short inseam. So it is designed for 4'11" or 150 centimetre riders and above, although they are doing a limited edition large, which is funny to see that this year. It's basically a choice of 27.5 or mixed wheels, and this year it gets a revamp with full enduro bearings in the pivot, straight top tube for better clearance, and then you've got 180mm rotors or bigger if you want, and that would be $4,199 US. Okay, quiz time is going to be a bit different this week, under your suggestion, actually, and that is that we ask, it is your fault that we ask the question, and you can put the answer down in the comments below, and we'll read out some winners next week. So this is just for Pride points right now, but they are very important, aren't they, Pride points? But basically, Knolly brought out their first production bike in 2003. It was a downhill bike with pedaling capabilities. This was way before we knew what an enduro bike was. And in fact, it was the same year, bonus fact for you, you're not the only one with random facts here, 2003 was the first year that there was an enduro race actually labelled as an enduro. So effectively, the first enduro bike, around about the time enduro was made, Knolly's first production mounted bike. What was it called? That is the question for you. Leave it down in the comments below if you know, and we'll reveal it next week. I've got some rewinds for you while you're drinking your coffee.
I'm
Feast ready. Your eyes upon these and tell me what you think. We've rated influencers' bikes. Now we're going to rate some rewinds from you lovely people. Check this out. What do you think of this Cannondale?
Excellent. Is that a beast of the East?
I don't know. So we've got a GT Zaska. That is a Cannondale SM700 here. From New Brunswick in Canada. Basically, him and his brother have been collecting bikes, and here's some of his favourites. And then check out this GT Zaska LE circa 1991, I believe.
Very cool. We like
those
the purple.
Manitous.
And those Onza bar ends.
All of the purple anodizing there. I mean, that couldn't get more 90s, could it?
Yeah.
And then this one, just so you can say this word, or maybe we shouldn't say this word, but it's just the model of a bike, isn't it?
I haven't seen the bike yet.
It's a DC cock from circa 2005, which was like this mad hardtail that came out at the time that's just like super slack, and obviously can run massive forks on it. He's got the Marzocchi Monsters on there, which was like more than 200, wasn't it?
I think the Monsters were like a 200. Then they did a Super Monster 2, which was like a 300. Yeah. That was like ridiculous. A Moto Trials fork, yeah.
So he's got modified 230mm Marzoccas on there. So that is nice. So if you've got any retro rewinds that you want to submit, then the link is down below.
While you're enjoying your coffee from your fantastic gmbntech mug.
Tech coffee.
Makes it better. We've got comments from last week's show, which is really interesting. So I will kick off.
And we were talking about that Trust fork, by the way.
Well, and linkage forks in general. So there was much discussion. So someone here, iCoopify, we'll go with that. He's got the 130mm Trust fork, and he was saying the reasons that Ali mentions, I think it's another commenter, he especially likes it, the stiffness of the linkage fork versus a regular telescopic fork for a larger rider such as himself. Lots more comments.
Yeah,
on
loads
the
of people actually have got the Trust. Got a Trust fork. So I've got Will Hoon for Food here, who says, I still run a Trust Shout and I absolutely love it. I love it so much that I'm on the lookout for another.
There you go.
So people did love it. Also, Cars and Bikes says, I have a Trust fork mated to my 2020 stump jumper. It rides as you noted. Really love it. Interesting that he's already got it on a Spesh.
Yeah.
Will we see one
Maybe.
With a special label on it. So.
Maybe Trust will make a comeback. So we've got Blair Wright 6270. Amp B4B5 is a great linkage fork that he felt worked better than telescopic variants at the time. I mean, this is a kind of 3-inch travel linkage fork for those like history buffs. And at the time, most telescopic forks were 2.5-inch, and opposed to using coils like the Amp did, they used a elastomer. So the damping wasn't quite as good because it's a bit more progressive. But yeah, he really liked it. And he also says, throwback to another fantastic fork, which was the suspenders fork that came on mountain cycles in '92. Yeah, inverted design. Disc brake only. They could have disc brakes. They had pro stock disc brakes back in '92.
Albikes 8484 says, I've owned Amp forks in both 1.5 inches and the 3-inch carbon model, and I've also owned the Gervin linkage fork. The Amp forks were on the stiff side of travel-wise, with noodly steering. The Gervin fork was quite supple and steered well. So just to show, not all linkage forks born the same.
No. More comments about linkage forks here. He had an Amp research as well as the Gervin Nolan fork. So yeah, super stiff and bomb-proof. Limiting factor was the travel, which is, yeah, a valid point. But
yeah. And then to finalise it here from Tony Sadler, says telescopic forks have one major advantage. They are cost effective. They give brilliant performance for an affordable price. I think that's the bottom line, and that's where we've struggled with linkage forks. But thank you very much for your coffee and your comments. Do keep them coming. Join in the debate below about influencers' bikes and the ones that we've shown today. And finally, what are we looking forward to this week, Owen?
We're looking to 5 mistakes to avoid when travelling.
Yes, of course. And top 5 XE bikes of 2023. So if you're interested in a new bike for 2024, do check that out on Sunday. But for now, that is all we've got time for. So thank you very much for stopping by, and we will see you next week.